welcome back to episode 10. It's Jason and Adri with our special guest, Adri's husband, Thomas, who's got some beef with punk rockers Blink-182, Fat Mike of NoFX, and Thomas says he once met singer Jewel, who invited him into her van, and it did not smell like Teen Spirit, more like bologna and hairy armpit. So yeah, that just made your nose twinge a bit. Appreciate your feedback so far on part 1 of the episode. Love to read your comments, your feedback from @UTI Music Pod on Twitter, and also Under the Influence Music Pod on Instagram and Facebook. We continue our discussion of the bands and groups, singers that influence the SoCal, California sound. Bands from like the Orange County or Anaheim area, like No Doubt.
Right.
Who didn't sound like, again, anybody at the time because they had that ska influence.
Yeah,
I love
and
that
ska was huge. It was like huge in Southern California in like the mid 90s. And that's why
all got grouped into Southern California.
It did.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it got that stigma or that label.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that was a bad thing because, I mean, hey,
That's
if you're
what
in
got
a band, I would
commercialized.
think if you're in a band
It's
and
great.
you're growing up in that scene, at least our scene's getting looked at now. We're getting some respect.
It was on the map.
We're getting some attention.
Yeah, it was on the map. Like,
Right.
like Seattle was grunge in the 90s.
Right.
They got put on the map, with, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Nirvana, stuff like that. Yeah, no, like those kind of bands, the poppy stuff, that was actually kind of like our rivals for my bands, at least. We did, like, offend a lot of people, which was fun.
That's the like the true punk rock way, the DIY way, is to put something out there with a message.
That's
and,
different,
you know,
too.
if
As
it's
different as
offensive,
possible. Yeah.
That's what it was meant to do.
And we knew as kids that this wasn't groundbreaking. We
Right.
weren't like, there would have been thousands of bands before that had played just as fast or faster.
But it was music to make you feel something or to react
Yeah.
to.
Think.
Yeah,
Right.
and it made us feel like part of something larger than ourselves, a community. And I met a lot of great people from all over the world that would come and play at different venues in San Diego. Those were some good times.
I want to talk for a few minutes about Sublime
Excellent.
because they're not punk rock.
Yeah.
They're not ska.
It's like
They're
its own
Long
little-
Beach, California.
Yeah, Long Beach.
Again, like the Chili Peppers, they are kind of their own thing. I mean, reggae influenced.
Oh,
you can hear a
yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
the Wailers and Bob Marley
Absolutely.
and a lot of that sound
Right.
in their music. But they were Sublime. They were their own thing. Do you guys
Yeah.
have any stories to share about Sublime, or maybe the first time you heard about them? And
Yeah, high school. At the time I heard them, I wasn't like a huge fan of their music. It was just hadn't hit. It's like I'd gone through, I like all forms of music now. I mean, everything, world music, bluegrass, hip hop, rock, whatever genre.
Yeah.
I like just about every type of music, especially positive. Got a positive message. I like it. But yeah, like Sublime now, I re-listen to that, and yeah, it does. It's total California. It reminds me of going up to LA.
it was the sound of that time.
It
Yeah.
reminds me of the beach.
Totally.
Yeah.
I just love it.
You put it on when you're going on a road trip, and we mentioned this in a previous episode. Summer songs that make you feel good, summer classic vibes.
That's
40
so-
Ounces of Freedom, one
so
of my
mellow.
favorite albums
Yeah.
of,
You
that's
love
of
it.
all music.
Oh yeah, it's a great album.
I think they have a very unique sound, too, that they brought to that SoCal sound. And I really appreciate them as a band. So I think it's cool that we mentioned them as well.
And I think they were one of those groups, too, because of the lead singer's, drug use and kind of reckless ways. I think they were really on their way up. I
Yeah.
think they could have kept doing more incredible things and cranking out more incredible albums. I think they probably could have even maybe topped the success of 40 Ounces to Freedom.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they were just getting started. We talked about the 27 Club
Yep.
recently. Mm-hmm. They were one of those groups that, had he kept his shit together, who knows if we would have been hearing Sublime in 2020 and how amazing that might have been.
I think so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also want to mention one other band that I don't think gets a lot of credit.
Okay.
And I don't know if a lot of people associate them with California. I do, because there's been a lot of different players and guitarists that have come in and out of the group.
Who are we talking here?
Jane's Addiction.
Oh heck yeah, they're California.
wow.
They're their
California.
own sound, right? They're their
that's
own
California.
thing.
Yeah, that's California because that's
Perry Farrell and Dave Navarro.
Yeah,
and-
because he's from he played in Peppers, later.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, and then when they did, what was their festival? Lollapalooza. He's the one
Lollapalooza.
that
Yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah.
started Lollapalooza.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So Lollapalooza took like a California idea and made it like international.
I think now they just do it like one city for like one weekend, and I think it's one of those
Oh,
things
they don't
like
go, like,
WrestleMania
everywhere?
now, where like cities like they bid to have the
Really?
event in their.
Yeah.
Wait, so they don't
city.
actually play like each city to city?
I don't think so anymore. I think it's just
Yeah,
like
I don't think they do
in the
that.
last couple years. It's been Chicago has had it.
Weird.
It was
These
definitely
cities
one of those
want
things
it.
where I think it did start out being
City
a
to
music
city.
festival that kind of
Yeah.
traveled, kind of like Warped Tour.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Because I remember like back in the day, my brother went to go see. Check this lineup out. It was Red Hot Chili Peppers. It was Smashing Pumpkins.
Wow,
I think opening Offspring opened.
crazy.
And then they had Weezer. Headlining was Nirvana, but
Oh, wow.
unfortunately with Kurt
Yeah.
and his passing. So guess
What the
who?
hell a
So
good
guess who?
lineup.
So guess
That's
who
crazy.
got thrown in and wasn't even a headliner, but they said we'll do it.
Fat Mike.
Way better. Punk rock and hip hop. Beastie Boys.
Oh,
Beastie.
wow.
That was no, I'll talk
Nice.
about Rage Against the Machine next. But
Yeah.
come on, that's like the best lineup you could have.
That's the ultimate
It's a
lineup
dream
there.
lineup.
That's like
Time.
fantasy football
Yeah.
type vibe there.
Heck yeah, yeah, and I think Select City's Jane's Addiction.
But yeah, if no one has heard of Jane's Addiction, they're like one of the only bands that could get away with putting a barking dog in a song and it like shoots straight up to #1 on the rock charts.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Been Caught Stealing is the name
Yep.
of the song.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
And that's not
So
even
good.
their best song.
It's a great song.
Lindsey Buckingham had Barking Dog in Vacation song.
Is that right?
Yeah, Vacation, the movie.
Yes.
Chevy Chase.
Oh,
Chevy
National
Chase.
Lampoons.
Yeah,
Yes.
National
Yeah,
Lampoon,
yeah.
Chevy Chase.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
listen toward the end of the song when it's the intro to Vacation.
Yeah.
And the little dog's like,
Oh, nice.
It's hidden,
there.
but you'll hear it.
And
I didn't realize that was
and
Lindsey
I would-
Buckingham.
yeah,
Yes.
I probably was Lindsay's idea, maybe. I don't know.
No, I mean, I didn't realize it was
Yeah.
Lindsey Buckingham doing the
Doing the-
barking.
Oh, no, that was his dog.
No.
It was his dog, I think.
Oh, okay. It was his
Yeah.
dog.
His
Okay.
dog, or it might have been him. I don't know. It might have been
I
John
don't
Hughes
Might-
barking at him.
It could have been Chevy Chase.
It might have been.
The guy's known
You never
for
know.
doing skits and characters. I mean, SNL. I mean, why not?
It very well could have been.
Multi-talented Chevy Chase.
Right?
Yes.
Or maybe Hooch from Turner and Hooch.
Yep. Was he in that? I thought that was Tom Hanks. We
Tom
don't talk
Hanks
about
was in
him.
No, we're
Turner
talking
and
the
Hooch.
dog,
Yeah, we
right?
can't talk about that
I'm getting
bastard.
confused. Oh my gosh.
I tell you, this is what we do, Thomas. Sometimes
Yeah.
we get in the weeds. You've listened
Yeah.
to some of our
Yeah.
episodes.
Yes.
Chevy Chase fan, Tom Hanks.
I mean, we are
Boo.
right now. We are 90 minutes into the podcast
Oh, wow.
here.
We're going to have to do this into
Unedited.
two parts.
We might have to.
Should I just mention the Rage Against the Machine story I have?
That's a great transition because I wanted to ask both of you,
'Cause
about
90s,
which
definitely.
bands and artists in the past 15, 20 years are still carrying that flag for like the California music scene.
My personal story is like I got into bands like Farside and Inside Out and a lot of these hardcore like underground like bands of the early 90s. Then I found out, oh, Zach's got a new band, Rage Against the Machine. And when they got MTV play and like some people looked at it as bad, they're like, oh, they're selling out and they're against corporations and such. But I looked at it kind of how they do. It's a positive. They're getting their message out more to more people, more exposure, more fans that can listen.
They've always been a band that knows who they are and the message and the vibe they want to put out there.
yeah, and
the
they're
music they
comfortable
want to
with
make.
that. Yeah, and they're comfortable with that.
And they are Rage Against the Machine. They're nobody else. They don't pretend to be anybody else. And now there are bands out there today that maybe have tried to duplicate their sound, but it's like when a Rage song comes on.
Yeah, and mass respect for them for keeping that quality that they wanted to have and preserving like their integrity. Because a lot of bands they see the dollar sign and that's it. But the Rage Against the Machine never saw that. They did what they love doing, and it got to more audience. So be it, and that's what they did. And like, and Zach, he was real big into like activism, still is to this day. And so like we ended up getting put on a bill where Zach actually showed up at a small club
Wow.
in San Diego. It's on the UCSD, La Jolla, California. So the university campus, and you'll have to help me with the name. I call it Shea Cafe.
It's called Che.
There we go.
Che? Oh, because Che
Yes.
Guevara?
Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
thank you.
Yeah, I was testing you there.
Yeah.
And,
He knows this stuff.
good catch. Yeah, so like we played there a lot. That was like a second home to me. I played the Shea all the time. So then like we ended up getting put on that bill, and they asked us to play like somewhere in the middle. I'm like, well, okay, cool. Like I was in Death to W at the time, and we're like, heck yeah, we'll play. And it was actually a benefit show for a person who had been arrested as part of the Patriot Act and Patriot Act 2 that had come out. I won't go into politics of that,
Right.
but basically our band was called Death to W. So there was some controversy there. I was like, what's the W stand for? It's
Right.
like
Washington.
yeah,
or-
war, Wendell, like
right.
who knows? W. Bush? I don't know.
No one knows.
Nobody knows.
a
So
mystery.
we did actually have FBI and like CIA follow us around. we got like put in the Reader, San Diego Reader. Like it was like they said, is it assassination rock with a question mark? All this stuff. Wow. They don't follow me around anymore.
Didn't they kind of group Rage In with that at the time too?
See what happened? What happened was the corresponding thing to Rage Against the Machine in that is that it didn't happen until after we played with Zach. And Zach actually spoke. He did spoken word and some hip hop at the show, in support of the individual that had been arrested and was tried and was facing conviction. He ended up serving a year in prison and a bunch of fines, and his whole life was changed. He was probably gonna get like 20 years in prison. But Zach's like, I'll come and I'll do the the benefit show with you, and so he ended up actually opening for us. So I can say that Zach opened for us. That was pretty cool.
That's cool.
Got to meet the guy.
Not many people could say, "Yo, Rage Against the Machine opened for my band."
Yeah, and for me, like I only knew a little bit about their music when I met him,
right?
Just a little bit, and like I became a fan after I met him and got to see like this guy is who he says he is.
And we have to post a picture of you with Zach. We'll post it on our social media page.
Oh yeah,
there's pictures of him and Zach. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
At UTI Music Pod on Twitter, at Under the Influence Music Pod.
Yes.
On Facebook and Instagram. So, yeah, there's a lot of content just from today's episode.
Oh, my gosh.
Just from this episode that we could post up.
Yes, there's so much.
So, you got Rage Against the Machine. Again, one of those bands or artists in the last 15, 20 years still waving that California flag. Incubus.
Oh, I forgot
I think
about
a lot of people
them.
do forget about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, awesome bass. Awesome.
Very good.
Brandon Boyd and Incubus. And
yeah.
Yeah, like one of my favorite albums in the last like 15 years or so is Make Yourself.
I got to listen to that again.
And Morning View was another good one. That's the one that had like Drive and Wish You Were Here, like some of the more like pop crossover songs that gave them more commercial success, made them a household name. And they're kind of on the comeback, I saw recently.
Really?
Yeah, so they're making some new music and putting some new albums
Awesome.
and stuff out. So, going on tour again whenever you can go on tour again.
Right.
2025,
Yeah, it's okay. We'll get there.
We talked about Stink. I mean, Blink-182 still kind of carrying that California flag. They've put out a couple new albums in the last few years with new singer. With I don't know. How do we not talk about Alkaline Trio?
Okay, yeah.
I forgot about those guys.
I played a festival with them.
Did you? Matt, the lead singer of Alkaline, Matt Skiba, super nice guy. Yeah, one of the nicest people in music you'll ever meet.
Yeah, like nice. I don't know who it is. What is it? Angels Airway?
Angels and Airways.
And yeah, so like the guitar player, one of the guitar players of that band, he played in Built to Last, and that was a band that we played with a lot in San Diego, and they were a great band. He was always a nice guy, supported us and everything.
Nice. Talk about Weezer, which I know, Adrian, you're not a huge fan of, but
no,
hey,
but
that first album is
They do
great.
have that sound. They do.
That is a Cali sound, even though like most of the members are from other places.
Well, the band like puts out an album, it's just like a color.
Yeah, blue,
the green album,
yeah, it's
the
cool.
white album, the blue album,
yeah. I don't think they thought they were going to get past that first album.
Probably not. They're just like, hey, the green album.
Let's just be the blue album.
Yeah, blue album.
If we get another album, we'll just pick another color.
If you want to destroy my sweater, go ahead.
Yeah. That was classic. Well, I mean, like, what grade were you in when that song came out?
7th grade, 6th.
Wow. Okay, yeah.
You were a little.
I was high schooler, but yeah, I
was
just
a
remember
little nerd dweeb, just like Rivers Cuomo.
But did you like it? Like, did you
I
connect
loved it
to the song?
instantly. I remember it was like
sweet.
on the
That was
countdown
cool.
show. There was a nightly countdown on the Top 40 station in my hometown, Evansville, Indiana. Give a shout out.
Yeah, you got it.
So Hot 96 WSTO in Evansville. Grew up listening to them. Every night, the Pepsi Top 88 or whatever, you know. And I remember like Buddy Holly would be on there, or the Sweater song was on there. That was back when like Weezer was on that come up. Like you saw the Buddy Holly video was always on MTV, and the Fonz was in it. Like they had the Happy Days.
That's a cool video. I gotta say,
still one of the coolest videos of all time.
It really is.
Who are these guys? Like, why are they in Happy Days? And like, why is the Fonz here? And, like, why are they singing about Buddy Holly? And like, what's this all about? It was different at the time.
Very different.
You were talking about bands that know who they are. They are their own sound. Weezer is their own sound.
No, they just kept sticking with what they liked and enjoyed doing.
Maroon 5.
I love
is
Maroon 5.
a more current band, I think, that kind of carries that California flag.
They do, and I got to meet them, and I got to have some M&Ms with them. So I'm going to share my little.
Maroon 5?
Yes, it was backstage. You know, like when they have their.
That's
riders
when they were 5.
Yeah, but they were very nice guys. Adam Levine is a very genuine person, so I
Does
really
he smell amazing?
He did,
Yeah,
actually.
not like Jewel.
Not like Jewel or Sting. But Lenny Kravitz smelled really good, too. We talked about him before.
We have talked about the scent of Lenny Kravitz.
The scent of Lenny Kravitz.
But no, Maroon 5, great group of guys. Met them several times. Really enjoyed them.
Yeah.